As someone who's just starting out wood carving, I started with the basswood that came with the kit, and then I quickly moved on to oak just because I like the look of it. But recently I've decided I wanted to try making a new ramen spoon, and I went out to try and find a log, which I thought maybe I could carve into a ramen spoon, something like that. It was going to come down there, and then the bowl was going to be at the bottom. Um, and this was a bit more difficult than the basswood or the oak to get started because those were little pieces and it's easy just to whittle off what you don't need. But with a log, you're kind of starting with a proper blank canvas because it's just part of a tree, isn't it? So I tried to cut some of it with a jigsaw to get the shape that I wanted, but the jigsaw was having a bit of trouble. I think the blade wasn't long enough. And then I thought I'd be smart and try and split it, but that didn't go so well, and I actually hurt myself quite badly trying to pull it apart here. But as I just carried on with a sore knee, and then I did it again. So I went back to the jigsaw pretty quickly. The jigsaw, again, wasn't really doing the trick, and it was just rattling about on the table because this setup is not optimum for like using power tools on. Quite good for carving on because it's nice height. But we weren't getting through it, so I thought I'll just have a wee experiment and see how good this wood is for carving or how hard it is to carve. Thinking it was birch, it's actually cherry according to the comments. You can see the bark here is totally soaking, and that kind of put me off a bit because I thought it was rotten, and I was wondering how far that rot went through. So I'm carving sort of layers off it here just to see how far that goes through. It didn't seem to go through very far, so I decided to keep going and cut this off to make a wee log that I can do something with later. That's coming up in another video, what I do with that log. When I was tidying up, I found this little branch on the table here, and just decided to keep going with this bit for now because it was a bit of rubbish, really. And I started trying the hook knife on it to see just how easy it was to get through the wood compared to the oak or the basswood, and it was like a different ball game. The hook knife just goes through this like butter. So I've straightened off the back here, so that it sits nicely. And then I had this idea: I'm going to make some sort of little shallow dish. Obviously, it wasn't going to be a deep dish with a little bit of a branch like this, and it was even smaller after taking the bark off. So once I eventually got it flat, which took a wee bit of carving, I could have used a bit of sandpaper or a sander or something, but I wanted to see how I could get on with the knife. Back to the hook knife with purpose now to try and make this to be able to hold something. Don't ever try this carving technique, by the way, pulling the hook knife towards yourself. That knife is very sharp, and if it had slipped and went into my thumb, that would have been the day over for carving, and probably the next day as well. But I went away from that pretty quickly. Hit myself with it there, right enough. So you can see, it looks like I'm putting a lot of effort into that, but if you go back and look at the oak carving video, you can see on that one, the amount of effort into my hand to just get a little bit of the oak out was a lot more than this. When you get past like the outer layer, where it's a little bit dry, and into the properly green wood underneath it, it comes out like a dream. Like it just carves right out. It's not difficult at all. You can see here I'm trying to make the lines coming down a bit uniform to make it look nice, but I'm not sure if I really stuck with that. I just got on with digging it out, or carving it out, I suppose. And this is what it looked like when I was finished carving it after it had dried out for a couple of days. And it looks pretty rough and ready, to be fair. But I think that's kind of what I was going for. I didn't bother sanding it or anything. I just put a bit of beeswax on it, and then went and put it in the house. And here it is with some peanuts in it, looking pretty fancy. And this is the finished product with the beeswax on it. And I think it worked out pretty good. If you liked this video, please subscribe and go and have a look at the shorts. There's a short of this as well, and some other birch/cherry projects that I've been working on. Thanks for watching. See you next time.